Generally, the time period in which you are required to start a lawsuit in New York is 3 years. However, there are certain circumstances where the statute of limitations is much shorter. Hi, I'm Joseph Donahue, and I'm a partner at Block, O'Toole & Murphy. The time period to commence a lawsuit in New York starts when the accident occurs. So if you're involved in a motor vehicle accident, you would have 3 years from the date of the accident to file a lawsuit. However, there are certain circumstances where the statute of limitations is much shorter. Specifically, when one of the defendants in the case is going to be a municipality, whether it be a local or a state municipal entity like the City of New York, the statute of limitations is much shorter. The statute of limitations in cases against municipalities in New York is 1 year and 90 days from the date of the occurrence. There are things that need to be done before you can even commence a lawsuit in New York if you're suing a municipality. First, you have to file what's called a notice of claim. A notice of claim is a legal document that puts the specific municipality on notice that you may file an action against them for an occurrence. That notice of claim sets forth the name of the claimant, the date, the time, and the location of the occurrence, and the facts and circumstances underlying the accident. For instance, if you're involved in a motor vehicle accident with a New York City Transit Authority bus, you would have to file a notice of claim with the New York City Transit Authority within 90 days of the happening of the accident. You would need to set forth as much information as you could regarding the location, date, and time of the accident, and the manner in which the accident occurred. The same with whether it's the City of New York, the New York City Transit Authority, or other municipal entities in New York. After the notice of claim is filed, you then have to give that municipal entity 30 days to settle the case. If they don't, you can then bring a lawsuit against them. But again, that lawsuit must be brought within 1 year and 90 days of the happening of the accident. For cases involving general liability, car accidents, trip and falls, accident at construction sites, the statute of limitations is not told, meaning the statute of limitations continues to run whether you realized you were hurt or not. So the fact that you're not aware of the specific injury that you suffered or the nature or extent of the injury doesn't stop the clock for commencing a lawsuit. For general liability, you would still have 3 years from the date of the accident to file a lawsuit, and in a case involving a municipality, you would still have to file the notice of claim within 90 days of the happening of the accident, and you would still have to file a lawsuit within 1 year and 90 days. If you're involved in an accident, it's important to contact a lawyer as soon as possible. While there might be a statute of limitations of 3 years or 1 year and 90 days, or another statute of limitation, meaning the time in which you have to start a lawsuit, so much takes place before the lawsuit is ever filed. First and foremost, you need the attorney to conduct a proper investigation to determine who, if anyone, is liable and what the extent of the injuries are. From the outset, it's important that an attorney is involved to make sure they ascertain how the accident happened, to perform a proper investigation, interview witnesses, obtain physical evidence, obtain photographic evidence, obtain evidence of video surveillance or video tapes which show exactly how the accident occurred. Typically, after an accident happens, it's important to gather this information early, because information including evidence like physical evidence, videos, photographs, and physical evidence, it tends to disappear. It goes away if no one's gathering it. It's also important that the attorney gets involved early to decide when to file a lawsuit. Waiting to file a lawsuit until the statute of limitations is about to expire is always a bad idea. The earlier the case can commence, the quicker the case can reach a resolution, which will bring justice to the client, and they can be fairly and adequately compensated for the injuries they sustained as the result of someone else's wrongdoing.